Hey, this is Matthew Riddle, the King of Bros, and you're watching the BWF podcast.
Wrestling fans, get ready for your weekly injection of the BWF Wrestling podcast. This week, we continue our series of Who Killed World Championship Wrestling by going back to 1999 and 2000, the years of Pokes, politics, and Russo. And folks, Russo is not to blame, and we will tell you why. Also, we have a brand new tournament where you can determine the winner simply just by voting. And as well, we have more games and trivia where you can play along. This week, we bring back who has the higher Dave Meltzer rating. All this and a whole lot more. Birthday boy Patrick Condon, roll that intro.
WWF Wrestling Podcast with your host and the leader of the BWF Nation, the big, Susan Little Bobber, the undisputed BWF champion, Aaron Big.
That's right, folks. Today is Patrick Condon's birthday. Happy birthday, my buddy. How are you feeling?
There we go. Now we're getting a little an appropriate amount of applause for it. I am wow. It's a run of emotions this year. I'm fairly certain I'm going to get fired from K-Rock after some of my exploits this past weekend. But we'll see. We'll talk a week from now and see if I'm still employed there. I believe I'm going to be accused of being racist.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I hosted the sort of the main Iceberg Alley event, which is like a 2-week long first thing that kicks off the summer, and the band Billy Talent was headlining. And so the place was sold out, and I was emceeing. So you go up 3 times, do a soft introduction. They call it a soft introduction. So it's like, don't get the fans too hot, but get them ready for the band. And so first time you go out, you give the emergency exits. Second time, it's kind of up to you. Third time, it's the sponsors. Second time, I decided I would lead the audience in a land acknowledgement, which I did perfectly. And I think I had a little bit of spice to it. But then instead of doing a soft intro, I made it seem like the band was about to come out, and as the audience was cheering, I said, it's going to be about 10 minutes. And they started booing me. And I said, I'm taking back the land acknowledgement. And, and then left the stage.
No.
Now, I mean, that's
That's
an interpretation of it. Really what happened was at the end of the land acknowledgement, I said to them, all right, good job, guys. Give yourselves a round of applause. We did it. You guys did a great job of acknowledging the land. So what I was taking back was my congratulatory remarks at the end of it. But
right. But they took it definitely the wrong way.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And then I came back again the third time, and the sponsors are Coors Light and Iceberg Vodka. And I just made up statistics like 1 in 3 people will be driving home drunk from the event tonight. And those that survive will die of heart disease. And we have the highest rate of heart disease in Canada. And then... And then in between these two things, the land acknowledgement or whatever, the people in the back were like, don't introduce Billy Talent again like you did with the last guys, because the crowd turned ugly on you. We've never seen anything like that before. And so I went out and I did all this stuff about how drinking is bad, and like some people in the audience are like, woo, and I was like, it's not funny. And then I said, "Are you guys ready to go to a river below? Are we going to it?" Because that's one of their songs. It's one of Billy Talent's songs. And I said, "Here we go. It's Billy Talent." And I said, "In about 20 minutes." And boos. Oh yeah. They hated it. And so I said, "Kiss my ass, Iceberg Alley," and I left the stage. So
That is the greatest.
I'm pretty sure
That is the greatest story I've ever heard in my entire life. Oh my god.
I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get fired.
Fucking worth it, man. Holy shit.
I think
man.
it's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it all. Shortly after it happened, I'm still posting stuff on the Facebook, the K-Rock Facebook page, and people are saying stuff like, what is it here? Mandy Christopher, buddy that is doing K-Rock this evening absolutely drives me. He drives me so much I even forgot his name. Something Patrick something. And then somebody said, "Agree. He was beyond rude." So
shout out to Iceberg Alley. Whatever fuck festival, Iceberg Festival. That's amazing, Pat. No, that's a great story. And folks, if you like that, please go to our Patreon account. Keep our channel alive. Holy shit.
Yes.
Keep our channel alive.
Some extra money.
Absolutely.
Need some extra money after losing that gig.
Yeah. Poor Patrick Era has no job. So go to our Patreon account for less than a coffee a month. Less for the cost of a coffee a month. Go support our channel. The Patreon account will be here on the screen. Go there, support our channel. We can give you interviews. Like Kevin Nash, hopefully in the future. That's what I'm trying to work on. If you want to see Kevin Nash on the show for an interview, go to our Patreon account and give us $3 a month. That's all we're asking. But yeah, you can see a bunch of stuff, right? You can see a bunch of stuff on there, like how to customize and restore your own action figures. Look at this customized Roddy Piper I've done. I could show you how. That'll be on the Patreon account. Look at this brand new Dynamite Kid right here for Tommy Billington, who just debuted on AEW not too long ago. Customized right there. All that and a whole lot more cool shit. $3 a month.
It's,
what more do you want?
Do I got any? I thought I had a good.
There you go. That's fine.
Maybe. I don't know. I've never found the right ooh.
Right, yeah. But yeah.
No, wait, now. Here it
is. There you go.
There it is. All right, Aaron, with story time out of the way, I think it's time for us to jump into Chronicles. All right, we're back. I'm sorry, I caught you.
Yeah, it's okay.
Doing your thing. Loving the shades, loving the new look. Looking like your boy back there. And also, I got to say, my antics aren't the only controversial thing this weekend. You, in honor, I guess, of my birthday, you really got one on me by posting a salacious photo of me with two gentlemen. And then that was posted on the K-Rock website. So a wide audience has now seen that, and who knows what the repercussions are. Now that I'm saying, I mean, maybe the reason that they end up firing me, I can turn it into it was as a result of them seeing this photo of me and that they're homophobic. Maybe, I don't know.
Oh, jeez. Do you have the photo there?
I don't really want to go down that path.
No, but yeah, do you have the photo there you could show, or are you just trying to work on it there? Yeah. But yeah, that was a pretty good photo from back in our Vegas trip back in 2022. We went to go see AEW, Double or Nothing, and we were on the strip,
and
Fremont Street.
So, do you have the actual photo?
No, that was a photo of the photo.
Wow. So I have no idea now where I think I got my car got robbed last summer. I think it might have been in with all that. So who knows? But here it is. There it is, right there.
Yeah, there you go.
No. I got it. You're not even looking at my screen, right?
There you go.
Look at that. I miss those shorts too. Those shorts were definitely stolen. And those shoes were stolen too. My God, that I still got the Bret Hart shirt. Look at that. I was thinking about those photos the other day. Now, I wish I never told the white dude that I wasn't gay because he's trying to make a little joke out of it. I wanted him to be like the black guy who was passionately grabbing that meaty thigh of mine.
Such a good picture. There's one that I could not post. Figured it was best
we'll
for
see
you.
about that. Don't even talk about it then. No. And I mean, my face on this is pretty good too.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. The whole thing is perfect.
We like to have a good time around here. Okay, Chronicles, bro.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So actually, before we started talking about this, I was having a conversation with media mogul Tenacious Tyler on Facebook today. And in our conversation, in his opinion, he thinks that it was Vince Russo who killed WCW along with the Time Warner AOL merger. But I'm here to prove that that is false. And we start off with, of course, something we've already talked about is the finger poke of doom. This happens in February of 99, and this is literally the point where you can see the ratings plummet from here on out in WCW.
What I love about this is a little behind the scenes is that you pitched for us to do an episode purely about the finger poke of doom, and I said I think we already covered that, and now we've brought it up every episode since.
I know, right? But we'll skip forward very quickly because, as mentioned, if you want to go back and listen to about the finger poke of doom, just go back and hear our last two episodes. But it's from this point on where the ratings and the audience start going downhill. From March of 1999, uncensored, which is a few weeks after the finger poke of doom, to March of 2000, the WCW lost 81% of their pay-per-view audience. 81%.
Right.
That's
huge. And so the ratings are taking a dive on their TV show like that as well, or yeah.
Yep. Finger Poke of Doom was also the same episode where Tony Schiavone said Mick Foley's going to win the world title. They'll put butts in the seats.
That'll put a lot of
yeah. Everybody.
Which isn't. I don't blame Tony Schiavone for that, even if it was his idea. I mean, that's not a big indication of all the things that happened on that show. That's not the worst thing.
No, absolutely not. But it did cause a lot of people to turn the channel. But yeah, after Finger Poke of Doom, 10 million people watched Raw and Nitro that night. 10 million people. It's crazy. It's a huge number. But that being said, let's take a look at why WCW lost 81% of their audience in a single year. In February of 99, that's Super Bowl 9, I'm just going to take a look at all the main events through the year. And the bookers, for the most part, are Kevin Nash, Kevin Sullivan, and Eric Bischoff. February 99, Super Bowl 9, it's Hogan versus Flair. March, uncensored, Hogan versus Flair. April, Spring Stampede, Hogan versus Flair versus Sting versus DDP.
Sorry, this is you're not talking 1995 here, are you?
1999. 99.
Okay.
1999, yeah.
Oof.
Said, yeah, because between uncensored 99 and uncensored 2000, this is where they lost 81% of their pay-per-view audience. So I'm going through the main events of all these pay-per-views.
No, I understand. I'm just surprised, because that's the way that Hogan came in the first place, was doing a triple main event. It's like 3 pay-per-view main events in a row with Flair.
So
they're going right. Yeah, they're back to that again. In 99 is crazy.
And they've had feuds in between this as well. So I don't know how many times they went back to that well. It's certainly run dry. But yeah, so Hogan versus Flair versus Sting versus DDP. DDP wins the title. Then the next month, May Slamboree, we have Nash versus DDP. Kevin Nash wins the title. So DDP had a 1 month reign. Nash wins again. Who gives a fuck? June, the Great American Bash, we have Kevin Nash versus Randy Savage. July, Bash at the Beach, we have Randy Savage and Psycho Sid Vicious versus Nash and Sting in a tag team match where Savage wins the world title. The next night.
What? Hold on now. Hold on now. So it's a tag team match for the world title.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's okay.
Whoever gets the pin gets the world title. Yeah. But why would Sting want to help Nash? It makes no sense, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Nonsense. Okay.
So then the very next night, Savage loses the title back to Hogan. Twice that happened to Savage.
So they're hot-shotting. It goes back to Hogan. Yeah.
Oh, my God. And then after that, we have in August, Road Wild, we have Hogan versus Nash in the main event. Who cares? After the finger poke and all that shit, who gives a fuck? Then we have Hogan versus Sting again at Fall Brawl. At Halloween Havoc, Hogan versus Sting again.
Yeah.
There's a pattern forming here, right? There's a pattern here. This is where Russo finally joins the company, okay? So the fucking damage has already been done as far as I'm concerned. And we can see an immediate injection of Russo at the next month. November Mayhem, the tournament finals in Toronto, Bret Hart versus Benoit for the world title. Then in Starrcade, Bret's the champion. It's Bret versus Goldberg. But fuck, Bret gets injured because of Goldberg's kick. So there goes Bret's push.
Right.
Bret was supposed to be the man.
Yeah.
There went that.
Well, at least Bret doesn't hold a grudge about that thing, right?
No.
So
right, exactly.
At the end of the day, not a big deal. Everybody's over. Everybody's friends again. I want to go back to before Russo took over. Because one of the things that I always thought, and I don't know that this would be like an episode thing, but I know I got out of WCW when the Wolfpack got on the go, and then Sting is wearing the red face paint, and none of it made any sense. Like NWO is taking over WCW, there's no good guy Wolfpack WCW, right? Or NWO. So why is Sting a member of this faction that's NWO when this entire time he was supposed to be the last bastion of hope for WCW? And then you got these two factions that are there to kill WCW, but one is good guys and one is bad, and I assume, I just don't know. Nash was, the finger poke would do. Nash was already Wolfpack, right? But he was in cahoots with Hogan. So then that's the end of the Wolfpack. They're back in as being WCW, but everybody's fighting everyone. It doesn't make any sense.
It's a fair point. Everything you said there is 100% fair point. But that being said, the episode where Sting put on the red and black and joined the Wolfpack, I still remember that like it was yesterday. I thought at the time that it was awesome. I thought it was the greatest thing ever. Savage, Sting, Nash, all these people in the same faction. I thought it was fucking awesome. And the fans went wild. I thought it was great. But yeah, no, definitely looking back on it, it makes no fucking sense. But it was a great pop from the crowd.
There you go. Hot shotting, really. I mean, you get a pop from the crowd. I don't remember, and maybe I had checked out even by that point. So maybe I'm not the one to say when the jumping of the ship is, because I had already jumped at that point. But it doesn't make any sense.
I think it also is the genesis of maybe even the Joker character for Sting too, because this is the first time that we see Sting with some of that swag, that heel, that he just didn't have before. So I think he took characteristics from that and brought back later.
Yeah, so Sting in the Wolfpack was a heel then, or heelish?
They were cool bad guys, just bad guys that were being cheered.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Hall and Nash
the
were
NWO
cool, they're all cool. The Hayos and Scott Hall was white and black, wasn't he? I don't know. I don't even fucking know anymore, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay.
So Russo joins the company, And then we start to see Bret Hart being pushed. He gets hurt, gone. We see Benoit get pushed. He becomes the champion. But as soon as Benoit becomes a champion, 24 hours later, vacates the title, quits WCW, and him and Guerrero and company go to the WWF. Literally, the heart and soul of WCW just up jumped the boogie and gone. Then Goldberg.
But this is before Russo is brought in, though, or begins booking, or where
this
is this?
This is the time that Russo's booking. Yeah, Russo joins the company at the time, October, November, and that's when he starts pushing Bret Hart.
Well, I always thought that Benoit left because Sullivan was being put back in charge of the book.
So Russo only lasts like 3 months in his original run here. So,
Okay.
but he gets brought back. Like he gets brought back almost immediately after. But yeah, he only lasts for 3 months. And then Sullivan gets
all right,
put,
so what
put back
happens in those 3 months, though? Like, I mean, that's even shorter than what ABC or NBC gave Conan O'Brien for the Tonight Show. Like 3 months, you can't do anything to do much in ratings in 3 months. So, do you know why they fired him, or like what was obviously the numbers weren't doing good? Were they sinking, or what
Russo
was the
claims
reason, I wonder?
Russo claims they were rising, but it's pretty much a power struggle between him and Eric Bischoff. So they brought Russo in to be the head booker when Bischoff was fired, and then they brought back Bischoff when Russo was being shit, and Bischoff wanted to be the boss. Russo didn't want to take direction, so they fucked off. Russo left.
Yeah.
And it was Sullivan and Bischoff took back the book for a while, and that's when the boys jumped shit to WWF.
Right.
It wasn't much longer that they brought back Russo to work alongside with Bischoff.
Yeah, it's too late at that point. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. They really should have just. Yeah, they really should have. Well, I mean, look, I think that with all the people that are main eventing pay-per-views that you're saying before Russo brought in, I don't think it's too late for them to turn around. They had DDP, they had Sting, they had Hogan, they had Nash, they had Goldberg, they had Bret Hart. I mean, you can build any successful promotion around those guys. And Benoit and Guerrero and etc. hadn't left yet, which they left as a direct result of Russo being gone and Kevin Sullivan being brought in. So seems to me that, I mean, I don't know what Russo could have done in 3 months that they can go back and say he's the reason why it's dead, but putting him in, that's a big creative decision, and that's going to change the direction of the company. Taking him out 3 months later is whiplash, and then putting somebody else in and then bringing him back. Like, you're going back and forth, and titles are being vacated, and reigns don't mean anything, and storylines are being completely forgotten and brought back again. That's what's killing you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And injuries too, man. So like Bret Hart gets injured, and Goldberg puts his fucking arm through a window and he gets injured. I mean, it's just, it's just one thing bad after another. By the time March rolls around, okay, yeah. So this is so funny too, because you can see the Russo main events in like November, December, January, and then as soon as he's kicked out again, February, March come along. Guess who's in the main event in those two pay-per-views for Super Brawl and Uncensored? I'll give
Is
you
it
one
Double
guess.
J?
No, it's Hogan and Flair.
Is it Vince Russo?
It's Hogan and Flair in both
of
these.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
What?
as soon
Wow.
as soon as Vince gets booted after the first 3 months, and Sullivan and Bischoff are back in the book, it's back to Hogan and Flair.
I understand, yes.
Back to Hogan and Flair.
Yeah, well, of course, yeah, because Bischoff never had any other moves other than Hulk Hogan his entire career, I guess, really. The NWO is whatever, but his big move was, well, it's not whatever. The NWO is huge, but it's because of Hogan, and Bischoff brought in Hogan. So,
right.
And obviously, Russo never had that relationship or whatever, as you would, I don't know, we'll come to find or talk about in this, but they didn't get along, clearly.
No, but it was after the March Uncensored pay-per-view when they've officially lost 81% of their pay-per-view audience. Just for example, attendance was 15,000 people when Brett beat Benoit in the tournament final. It's down to less than 5,000 now in here at the
Ouch.
Uncensored. Yeah, so it's just everything's going down the drain. They bring back Vince Russo. They vacate all the championships for, I think, the second time.
Yeah.
I mean,
And this is when Bischoff says to Sid something about stabbing Arn Anderson or something like that, right? Like,
yeah,
and
yeah.
they're doing, yeah. And so, I mean, I don't even care what Vince Russo is doing. You can't blame it on him. It really, if we're going to say that this, is the beginning of the end, I don't think there's anything Vince Russo could have done when you're thrown in and out of power and sharing responsibility. Like, there's no one creative vision. Doesn't matter if you think Vince Russo is a hack or if he is the reason for the Attitude Era. You can't gain any momentum, and by bringing you back and forth, it's just really just becoming confusing, and you're not able to establish a brand or tone or anything like that.
No.
Any words you want to use like that.
But that being said, I think the closest identity WCW had to an identity, I don't know, at this time was the release of Ready to Rumble, the movie. And
Right.
in this movie, we see David Arquette, and there's a bunch of WCW wrestlers involved, like Diamond Dallas Page, Macho Man, and all that stuff, Jeff Jarrett. But yeah, it's around this time when they decide to inject the movie into storylines in the product. And this is where Tony Schiavone suggests, not Vince Russo, but Tony Schiavone suggests that David Arquette wins the world title. Bischoff blew his load, shot all over the room. Everybody agreed that this is the greatest thing to do. So they went along with it. It was not Russo's idea. He was forced to go along with it. So David Arquette wins the fucking world title.
And I mean, I don't have a problem with it. They're really in a desperate state. It did, like you said, give an identity, and it's not like they were trying to run away from it. Everybody was saying, like, the storyline, they were showing Courtney Cox, and she's saying, what is going on? Why? Like, how are you this champion? It's everybody's incredulous, and they don't, and he knows himself that he shouldn't be. He wins by a fluke. All these sorts of things. So I mean, the way that it was handled, and the benefits that came from it, I don't think that there's a problem with it personally.
It gained mainstream attention, that's for sure. But they did it on a Thunder, of all things. They did it on a Thunder. Yeah, don't like that. And you're right. He was going around backstage saying, "I don't want this championship. I don't want it. I shouldn't be champion." But he held on to this thing for 2 weeks, wrestled 4 matches. 4 matches, and he did eventually drop it. It said 2 weeks later at the pay-per-view. But I have a trivia question for you and the audience. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's hear it.
True or false? Russo's, and because we'll talk about Russo in a minute in his title reign, Vince Russo's and David Arquette's reigns were both longer than reigns from Macho Man, Kevin Nash, Jeff Jarrett, Ric Flair, Diamond Dallas Page, Sid Vicious, Chris Benoit, Sting, and Lex Luger.
Not combined, obviously. So you're saying reigns, the particular reigns, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say true. Obviously, is that? Yeah.
Definitely true. Just a crazy, crazy fucking stat that blew my goddamn mind.
I think that given the same opportunities, I don't think TNA would have said no. I don't think AEW would have, although maybe, I mean, we can get to that actually, but I think Vince McMahon would have done the same thing. Vince McMahon had Lawrence Taylor go over his wrestler at the main event of WrestleMania. So you say that, David, what's his name? David Duchovny? What's his name?
David Arquette.
David
David
Arquette?
Duchovny of X-Files fame. Yeah, but no, David Arquette.
Yeah, that would have been awesome. I'd be down with that.
That would be cool, yeah.
He'd be like a Jake the Snake kind of guy where he wouldn't have to talk very loud to get you to listen. But David Arquette had some matches in him, and they didn't book him to look like he was better than anybody. And Vince McMahon, when the cards were down for WWF, had unproven football player come in and hit the ass of Bam Bam Bigelow. One match, never fought again, main event WrestleMania 11. So I think any booker would have done the same thing.
Fair enough. But directly after this, Russo decides that it's time to build some new stars. So he makes Jeff Jarrett his number one heel, and he starts building Booker T / GI Bro. He had a little gimmick in there as well. But yeah, that was short-lived, thank God. But yeah, he went back to Booker T, and he is now becoming the number one face in the company. Fast forward a month or so later, we're going to Bash at the Beach 2000. Now, this is one of the more, infamous days or famous days in wrestling history. Story goes, Booker T is scheduled to win the championship. This is all covered, by the way, also on the Who Killed WCW series.
We've already done this.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
yes,
quickly go over it. Booker T is scheduled to
win.
win.
No, we've already covered Bash at the Beach, didn't we?
No, we didn't really. I don't think we covered it. No, we talked about it, but we didn't really cover it, and we just glanced over it, didn't we?
All right, my bad. I thought I read the tweet. I thought that I read the tweet that I sent to Vince Russo about this, and he came back at me. Maybe we didn't, but anyways, please continue.
Yeah, I'll quickly go over it. So basically, Hogan didn't want to do it in the end. They're all backstage. Vince Russo, Eric Bischoff, Hogan. Hogan says he didn't want Booker to win it. Hogan wanted to win the championship and walk out with the world title. So they all agreed that's how it would be done. With the screw job, Jeff Jarrett laying down for Hogan, all that stuff Hogan knew was going to happen. What Hogan didn't realize was how bad Vince Russo was going to come out afterwards and pretty much bury him in one of the craziest promos of all time. I think we did cover this in the audio version, one of our podcasts before. But Vince Russo comes out with a scathing promo saying that Hogan pulled his creative control card and he wanted to be the champion. So he gave him what he wanted. But, sorry, just trying to read here. Right. Hogan,
Those shades, they may make you look cool. Those shades may make you look cool, but they impede your ability to read.
They do impede the ability to read. But Russo comes out and he's pretty much saying that piece of shit Hulk Hogan, so help him God, Russo would never have. We will never see Hogan in the ring, so help him God, or we'll. Holy fuck! Russo said that we will never see Hogan in the ring, so help him God, or Russo would go in the goddamn grave. Just a really scathing promo. If you haven't seen it, go back on YouTube and watch it. But then afterwards, Jeff Jarrett and Booker T, they have a match to determine the new WCW champion, which Hogan did not know about. And Hogan actually went on to file a lawsuit against Vince Russo for the shit he said in the promo for defamation of character.
Cool. Close enough. Defamation.
Sorry. There you go.
That's right.
Thanks.
No problem. I'm accused of it all the time. That's why I know.
So, Booker T is the champion. Is this the turning point for WCW? No.
Well, I want to just bring up something. Do we ever see Hulk Hogan again in the ring in WCW?
We do.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And Vince Russo's just out here being alive.
Yeah, Hogan comes back as he comes back with the yellow and the red at some point. He also has that FUBU gear on at some point too. In the year 2000, he has a feud with Kidman.
Right. Yes. Two very momentous Bash at the Beach moments, nevertheless, for Hogan, right?
Yes,
that's
absolutely.
where the NWO began, and this is where Hogan got exposed, bro.
Yep, he definitely did. But what also was exposed, I guess, here, Vince Russo, as much as we like to defend him, this time we pretty much can't. He made some bad decisions around here. We were given Mike Awesome as that 70s guy in a Fat Chick Thriller. Some just Kwee-wee Maestro, some really bad gimmicks, bad ideas. Judy Bagwell on a pole. But to top it all off at this point, I don't know what the fuck happened, but Vince Russo went off the deep end and he booked himself as the world champion. Even though Goldberg speared him outside of a cage and he went through the cage, that's how he won. Still, you can't be booking yourself to be world champion. That's unexcusable.
Inexcusable.
God damn it, inexcusable.
That's cool. People say that about me all the time. That's the only reason I know.
I'm an ignorant Canadian. What can I say? God, I need to read.
So, I mean, and again, look, he should. I don't know. It's not good. It's definitely not good that he did this. And the only thing I'll say is perhaps the damage is done at this point. I would say he probably should never have been on camera, but he's trying to do this. And it is a big idea. It just doesn't work. His big idea is to try to recontextualize wrestling as saying that it's scripted and that's part of the storyline. Now, it's confusing. It didn't work. But that was the big idea, that people are going off script in certain things and whatever. And so the head writer, the powers that be, that storyline, that was his big swing. It was a miss for sure, but that was the reasoning behind it, I would say.
Yep. That's pretty good reasoning. And it's about this time, around this time, Russo would get fired again. And then less than half a year later, WCW would close its doors forever. The AOL Time Warner merger happened, and Keller, the guy in charge, didn't like wrestling, and he took away the time slot, basically killing the deal that Eric Bischoff claims that he had to save the company. Eric Bischoff claims that he and a group of people had a deal on the table for $67 million to buy WCW in exchange for 2 hours on Monday, 2 hours on Thursday for 2 years. Apparently, there are some shenanigans because there's some former Turner executive now working in charge of the WWF, and they made a deal, and the WWF bought it for $4 million. Now, I don't care who you are. I don't give a shit. If there's a $67 million deal on the table, someone's going to take it, and they're not going to take the $4 million deal. It's not good business, right? I mean, like, don't you think? No matter how bad the product is, if that kind of a deal is on the table, don't you think they have to take it?
So Eric Bischoff was going to buy. Well, okay. So here's the thing. Yes, like $2 million. You take the $2 million or $4 million to get rid of it, as opposed to $67 million, and it's still in your life. I think that ultimately, with the Time Warner merger, and from what I understand, is that they just didn't want to be in the wrestling business anymore. You see that happened kind of recently with TNT and the NBA, that they didn't want to. For whatever reason, they didn't, and maybe it's misguided, maybe not. Same as getting rid of WCW, because I mean, whatever their ratings were in WCW towards the end of the reign there, surely was still way higher than what both WWE and
AEW
fucking AEW are doing these days. Because I mean, it took years for WWE to get down to $1 million and whatever it is on Raw. So anyways, point being is they didn't want to be in the business of wrestling anymore, and sometimes networks just don't want to do it. And when you take into account what 4 hours of programming is on your network, $67 million isn't necessarily that much money.
And it's not that much money especially being said when the company is bleeding, hemorrhaging money. The reason why the executives didn't want wrestling on the TV is because, as I said, it was not cost effective. WCW, they were around for what, 27, 29 years or something like that. The only 2 years they were profitable in the entire existence of the company were 1997 and 1998. So,
Wow. Yeah.
yeah, and the amount of money
Yeah.
that people they were just shilling out those contracts. Randy Savage's brother, the Genius, he was getting paid six figures the entire Monday Night War for sitting on his ass and doing nothing.
Yeah.
Ralphus, do you remember
And that
Jericho's
was to
bodyguard?
that was yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he was
Well,
getting
and
paid more than a lot of wrestlers at one point as
yeah.
well.
Yeah, and that's always, and it's been said before too, that that's kind of the ultimately what the issue is that WCW was owned by a TV network, and it wasn't a TV show that a network was buying from a company each week, which is what the WWE was. So so then so WCW essentially is Nitro, is Thunder, is their Saturday night show or whatever, and the pay-per-views and the house shows and all that kind of shit, that's not really as relevant as the TV ratings. And so, the money that they're spending, it's outrageous for wrestler money. Not that much for if you're looking at it through the guise of it being a TV show like Friends. It's not as expensive, and it's not as expensive if you're looking at it like it's a sports team either. But so you take those two things into account. They're still spending money though at the end of the day, and it still adds up, and it's still something that a TV network doesn't necessarily need to have on, especially if they're not fans of wrestling, because Ted Turner was the guy that wanted to always have wrestling on his networks. And when that merger happened, he didn't have that same control anymore. And wrestling, certainly back then, was regarded as sort of a poor man's viewer, would come in and traditionally would only tune in for the wrestling and then leave again right after the show was done. So there wasn't a whole lot enticing, especially if you're a network executive and you don't own any of this shit either. It's just a matter of the bottom line, right? And you don't want to be the person that is being asked by his boss, why do we still have this intellectual property on our network when it's literally just costing us money and bringing in viewers that we don't want.
And the product is so bad at this point too. It's a complete joke. Like, why would you want to save it?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Well, and they probably came up to that realization a little bit before, because their ideas for saving it was, let's switch it out after 3 months. Let's back and forth in the creative direction. But I mean, there's no TV show in this world where you would take over the showrunner, like say Breaking Bad or whatever. You fire Vince Gilligan after first season, bring somebody else in. Now I say that, and I'm just reminded of The Walking Dead, because that's what they did after the first season. They fired the guy that brought The Walking Dead to AMC and then moved it over, and it turned out to be the right move. It was a huge success. But their big thing was, let's bring in Vince Russo. They didn't stick to their guns, and as a result, if you're watching this product week in and week out, there's no continuity to it. And like anything else, you will eventually stop watching it because it's just confusing. Even to hear about these storylines, I wasn't watching it back then. These storylines just doesn't make any sense.
No, they really don't. They really don't. So
I'm on one tonight, Bishop. I'm on.
You are on one tonight, my friend. You're on one every night, but especially this week. You're good. But yeah, in the conclusion, my friend, I do think that we have to say that WCW was killed by a lot of things, but mostly it was Hogan's contract that had the creative control. It was Eric Bischoff who gave out that contract and gave out all the other shitty contracts that bled out the company dry. And their inability to elevate new stars. Hogan wanted to hold on to his spot the entire time. They couldn't elevate. And they it just bled the company dry. It made the product boring. Also, Tony Schiavone, big reason why WCW is in the trash can for all the bad ideas. He's the one who suggested to turn the channel, or he's the one who suggested that Mick Foley was going to win the title.
Yeah.
He was the one who suggested that David Arquette win the world title. I mean, Tony Schiavone, you're the reason
that's a hot
WCW
take
dead.
that we haven't. Nice. I like that. That's good, Bish. That is a good take. I haven't heard that before. Now that you sort of bring it together, I hear a lot of people apologizing, even myself earlier for Tony Schiavone, but now you bring it up. He's almost like the Forrest Gump in this, right? Like he's the guy that's in the room that makes the bad suggestion that ultimately somebody else has to take responsibility for. But Schiavone, and Schiavone was going for that job before they gave it to Eric Bischoff too, right? And he was bitter about it. He didn't like the fact that they went with Bischoff over him. So maybe Schiavone did it.
Oh, 100% Schiavone did it. 100%. But that is
go.
another
Right.
edition of the Chronicles, my friend. I think it's pretty good.
Good. All right. Lovely. All right, Aaron. What a great Chronicles. What do we got coming up next for our people in the show? Now we're a good 45 minutes in.
45 minutes. Wow. Next, we're going to start our brand new tournament. But first, we're going to go have a shout out to our friends over at epicshirts.ca. Listeners, viewers, watchers of the BWF Wrestling Podcast, do your shirts suck a fuck? If so, all you need to do is go to epicshirts.ca and get yourself an epic shirt. Do you like retro wrestling? Of course you do. Do you like 80s retro? Of course you do. They have 90s retro as well, anime shirts, baseball, boxing, camping, cats, celebrities, action movies, coffee shirts for fuck's sakes, animal shirts. All of the shirts that you can possibly think of are at epicshirts.ca. And if you want to save some money, use BWF Wrestling Pod as your code, and you can save 10% off your order. Once again, go to epicshirts.ca and get yourself an amazing, epic shirt.
Nice. Well done. Well done.
Thank you.
It's good. It's good stuff. All right. So as you mentioned, now I don't know if Epic shirts involved with this next tournament, because as I was going through it all, I thought I would like to have a shirt of one of these guys more than even the tag teams.
I didn't actually ask our friends over there because this was a non-epic, worst of all time. So, but that's actually, I never even thought of that. Maybe people would like a t-shirt of one of these horrible gimmicks that we are going to go over and see just who
I think so.
Exactly helped kill WCW.
Now, before we move on to the last one, people always accuse us of not really giving away the things that we're supposed to give away. We did give away a t-shirt to Christopher Ivan. He has drawn live on air. Aaron, do you have any proof of this?
Right here, actually, and this is actually really cool because the t-shirt arrived on Christopher's birthday. I don't know if we can get it here, but I said could have killed him to put it on. Put it on, but yeah, no, he got there's the t-shirt there. It arrived, and look at that, showed up on his birthday. It's amazing.
God love him.
That's amazing.
Go ask him to take a picture with it on, for the love of God.
Right.
Not right now, but
obviously not right now, but yeah. Thank you to our friends at Epic Shirts, by the way, for sponsoring that t-shirt for us in our last Epic Tag Team Tournament. But this time, we are going to deep dive even more into who killed WCW with this tournament. This is the worst gimmick ever tournament.
Now, Aaron, hopefully you'll be able to smarten me up a little bit on this because there's some of these guys I don't even know. So we will touch upon who some of these characters are. And another thing that I want to, so it's always these complicated things when it comes to deciding what the worst of something is. So the thing that is moving on, is it what we think is the worst? So like are less of our favorites of the two?
So my criteria for this basically was, because there's a lot here that I could have mentioned and I didn't, like the ding dongs, Loch Ness monster, stuff like that. They didn't last very long. They didn't have any impression or make any kind of said impression in wrestling at all. They weren't around that long. So I went the characters that had some longevity to them, that had like a big match or something like that, maybe against Hogan. Yeah, I don't know, and just personal, just ugh. I didn't want to do tag teams because it's just too much, right? So I
No,
narrowed
obviously,
it down
yes,
to just
yes.
single, just single. But
Yeah. And so
Asia as well
and
was
now
another one.
these span a long, long time. So obviously some of them could not be considered the thing that killed WCW. So are we blaming the bookers of this particular time, or are we just going like what gimmick we didn't like? What gimmick we didn't like, what one sucked the most?
Fair enough. Yeah, I actually didn't even think about that. That ones here that go back to like 1990, how they didn't have really any effect in the long term death of WCW. So this is just worst gimmick ever, WCW edition.
Sure. What do I got here? Let's see what I got put up here. I got, oh my God, not epic.
Not epic.
Worst WCW gimmicks.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's
Okay.
good. That works. That works.
All right, and here we go. Matchup number one is RoboCop and Kiss Demon. So now, I mean, explain to the folks how both of these properties, IPs, ended up in WCW.
They just had a working partnership with the movie company that RoboCop was with, and Jim Herd at the time thought it would be a good idea to bring in RoboCop as a tag team partner with Sting. RoboCop would help Sting win some matches. I do believe they were part of a War Games match together at one point too, at the Halloween Havoc, where Abdullah the Butcher gets electrocuted. Yeah. Good stuff. Great stuff.
Is he in that match? Is that the one where he rips off the bars for Sting?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he's in it now. And now, so I okay. So now this Kiss Demon, I know he actually wrestled. He's not a member of Kiss. He is a wrestler. And one of the things that they had to agree to was that this Kiss Demon was going to win a main event or be featured in a main event of a pay-per-view. That was one of the line items that Kiss insisted on. So this guy, now they, WCW fucking carnied them so that they weren't the last match on. I can't even remember the match, but I remember it was called something like a special main event match, and it was like the third or fourth match or whatever. Nevertheless, he was all over the show. This is a stupid Eric Bischoff idea, I think. Do you have anything else?
You summed it up pretty well. I do believe he had a few with the West Country Rednecks or whatever the fuck they were with Kurt Hennig. But yeah, if we're just going for votes on this one here between me and you, I have to say the Kiss Demon moves on because Kiss actually wrestled matches, and yeah, RoboCop didn't actually wrestle a match. I don't think he was just there to help Sting win.
Right. So that's another thing. So are we going to do our own thing now, or are we just going to go through them and put them up and let the fans do the first round?
We'll do the first round because there's 16 of them, but then we'll let the fans vote for the next rounds.
I think we should just let the fans do it.
Oh, really?
I mean, 16 is only 8 matches. It's only 8 questions.
Yeah. Okay. Fuck it. Let's throw it up there. Let's throw it for the fans to decide.
Yeah, people love doing those votes. Next up is, of course, iconic Shockmaster. I mean, what more can be said about the guy? Aaron, please just give a brief summary of the Shockmaster.
Shockmaster was, of course, fuck. Who was it? Was it Typhoon? It was Typhoon.
It was
right?
Tugboat.
Tugboat.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's Typhoon
Tugboat. Yeah,
Tugboat.
yeah. Fred Ottman. He was dressed up in a Star Trooper helmet from Star Wars that had glitter all over it, and he was supposed to make a big debut by bursting through a wall. And when he did, he tripped and fell down. The helmet fell. The crowd laughed at him, and I think he wrestled one match as Shockmaster. They tried to remaster or reboot him as the Shockmaster 2. That didn't work either. Yeah, just a really, really bad gimmick. Maestro was a composer, a piano player. Vince Russo idea.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Now, you jumped there on me on that. I've never heard of this guy before. This is a deep cut. Who is he? Where did he come from? What is his shtick? And what era? I don't even know what era. It seems like it would be like around the same time as a Shockmaster.
No, actually, this is from 2000.
Wow.
It's a Vince Russo idea. He would come out and play the piano as his intro. He was a composer. He played music. That was his gimmick. Makes no sense for wrestling. Don't know why he was there. He had a little valet. I do believe the valet was Ryan Shamrock, who turned to be Ryan Shamrock, Ken Shamrock's sister. But yeah, just fucking terrible. Why is there a composer on wrestling? I have no idea. But that was his gimmick. A piano composer.
How long did he last?
Half a year, maybe.
Not You're long. Just guessing. You don't know.
No, it wasn't a full year. That's for sure.
Okay.
Less than a year. Yeah.
All right. Next up, we got the Shark, and we got Berlin. Who is Berlin? Alex Wright.
Berlin is Alex Wright, indeed.
All right. This is where things get a little complicated for me because I don't think Alex Wright deserves to be on any worst of thing in WCW. Alex Wright was awesome, and certainly this was not his idea. But he looks like he's out of the Matrix in this.
Yeah, he's like a Matrix Nazi. It's exactly what he is. And then we have John Tenta, Earthquake, as the Shark.
Right, which very well could be his idea. I think that this would have gone over. This is, it would have gone over if he had called himself something a little bit more like Great White, which maybe no, but like something like the Shark. There's no imagination there. He's not a shark. He's not going to convince me that he's a shark, no matter how many sharks he puts on his tights and what he does with his hands to make it look like fins. So come up with something. Why not just be, what's his name in real life?
John Tenta.
John the Shark Tenta, or Shark Tenta. Wow.
Or just Shark. Shark.
Yeah, I guess. No. Aaron, you're going against everything I just said.
Not actually dress up like a shark, but
not shark.
Like a pool shark, like a hustler.
A pool shark, yes.
Like a hustler.
If he came out with a pool stick, yeah.
It's already better.
The Q-tip thing, and then could have nailed people with the Q. Yeah. Oh, well. This is why we should have been booking these shows. All right, that'll be a tricky one. Now, in this next one, this is another heavy one. We got the Renegade, and we got Seven, who is Dustin Runnels.
Yeah, correct. Their reimagination of the Goldust gimmick into Seven. I do believe that Seven was actually Goldust or Dustin's idea, but just got warped and twisted and turned. Apparently, his entrance was like $100,000 every time he came out. Like,
now, I don't want to influence anybody on this. Well, hold on now. But I don't want to influence anybody on this, but I think that this is probably my pick for the worst because of everything that you just said. It cost a lot of money. It was Dustin's idea. And as soon as he floated out to that ring, he killed the gimmick. And so, and the gimmick in of itself, as I tried to illustrate here, there's a lot of better photos of him, but he's got this thing where he's in his promos, he's like looking at a kid, and it's really weird vibes. I know that the kid is supposed to probably be a representation of his younger self or something like that, but it just looks like he's outside of a window creeping on people. Bad idea. A lot of money. Killed Dustin. He killed it himself with the work shoot right afterwards. I think that this is a bad gimmick. That's a bad gimmick.
That's a bad gimmick. Yeah, absolutely. I don't even know if we need to let the fans vote on that one. Should we just move him on anyway?
No, well, I mean, the Renegade is also pretty known, right?
Yeah, Renegade was fucking atrocious too. The Ultimate Warrior.
The thing is that the Renegade is not a bad gimmick because it's just too bad that the Ultimate Warrior was around first. If there wasn't, then you're a genius then, right?
Yeah, I suppose, yeah. Fans, who are you going to vote for in that one? Yeah, that's a doozy. Absolute doozy. The next one's not great either. This is, oh boy. Yeah. We have Zodiac. Yeah, versus Oz. Oof.
Yeah. So Oz
Bruce Beefcake, by the way, makes this list twice. Bruce Beefcake has
I was going to bring that up after. I was going to bring that one up after. It seems like it's a purposeful shade that you're throwing at Brother Brudeye. Brutus is he was never able to come up with something that was as good as Brutus the Barber Beefcake, which is insane because Brutus the Barber Beefcake is not a great name either. But Lord knows he did 14, 15 different names trying to get something that he thought was as good. Zodiac was his heel run. I don't know what was it a special? Was there anything? What was the deal? He didn't speak, right? Or he said one word all the time? What was the Zodiac's deal?
Honestly, I don't fucking know. He was part of the Dungeon of Doom, just being fed fodder to Hogan, getting ready for, I don't know. I have no idea. They were having a feud. Like, I don't know why they even had a feud. Like, Hogan just handpicked his opponents. They started this feud when Brutus turned on Hogan and became the Butcher. He butchered the friendship. So he became the Butcher. And then they had a feud at Clash of Champions, and it just went downhill. And then I don't know why. He turned to Zodiac. He turned to Booty Man. Turned to all this fucking shit. Yeah, I don't get
Butcher's
it. Butcher's
not bad. I guess I don't know. I don't know why I did it.
Stuck with the Butcher, yeah.
And obviously, yeah. Oz, everybody knows about Oz. I think that it was just it, and it is a bad gimmick. I don't think he was in any sort of position, and its place and time, I don't think was enough for him to make that much of an impact. But the representation of what Zodiac is, which is Hogan, like you said, picking his opponents, even though they don't make any sense, but they're his buddies, and he knows that they know how to work with him. I think. And it's an annoying gimmick. Oz didn't do too much damage ultimately, even though, a very dumb idea by Mr. Dustin Rhodes. Leave it up to the fans to decide. And now, again, as mentioned before, you and your shade. Here he is again as the Booty Man against General Rection. And I noticed when you put it in, you did not include the middle initial of his name. And I'm not even going to dignify what his middle initial is for General Rection because I think it's crass and reeks of Vince Russo, I believe. And so General Rection, known as Hugh Morris. So, I mean, the guy. And Booty Man, which almost as close as you're going to get to Brutus the Barber Beefcake, I think, right? It kind of looks like him there. He's got, is that Kimberly? Or
That is Kimberly Page, yeah.
who's
But
that?
to go back to General Wrexham for a second, General Wrexham wasn't even his first name, so they kind of morphed. It was Hugh Morris, and then it went from Hugh Erection
Oh, okay.
to General
Yeah.
Wrexham. Just Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah, and then said Booty Man with Kimberly Page.
Why Booty Man? Out of all the ones that you could have picked, why did you pick Booty Man?
Why not? It's horrible. What is a booty man? Does he like
Cool.
ass?
I don't know if I like
get it.
this. I don't know if I like this sunglasses look, Bishop. It makes you a little too cool for school.
Oh no, I'm not too cool for anything. Should I take him off?
That's what you say, but you're like, why not? No, keep him on. I ask you a question, you're like, who cares? He sucks. It's good. It's very cool. All right. Coming up next, we got Roadblock and the Yeti, who was a taller guy than the Giant even. What's the deal with Roadblock?
Roadblock was brought in the year 2000 to feud against Hogan. Hogan actually put this guy over. One of the few opponents that Hogan chose to put over. Man, Hogan's a funny guy. Jesus Christ. He puts over
Who
people
is
that
it,
don't
though?
matter.
Is he... Yeah. Well, that's it.
Who is he? I know who he is. He came in. He had like an undefeated streak going for a bit. Nobody could knock him down, thus the wall. He couldn't get knocked off his feet. And then Hogan, he had a choke slam for a finish, and Hogan put him over on an episode of Nitro in year 2000.
So
nobody remembers.
Is this a wrestler by a different name? It looks like a WCW guy. But is he, or do we ever
Honestly,
hear
I
from
don't know.
Roadblock ever before?
No, I don't think
Fair
so.
enough.
Yeah.
And what do you got to say about the Yeti?
Yeti is just like the Zodiac, just thrown in the Dungeon of Doom to feed Hogan until Hogan was ready for whatever storyline they were getting him prepped for.
There you go. Did he stick around long? I remember, he was there during, the Dungeon of Doom, which is a very bleak time, I think, in WCW.
Yeah, they had that big cage match, the Dungeon Cage or whatever the fuck it was. Yeah.
He doesn't look like a Yeti. He looks like a mummy.
He looks like a mummy, right? He looks like a mummy. Yeah, I know. Oh, my.
I don't know.
And then we have the last matchup.
And
Thank
I got
God.
a feeling he's going to go far in this. And then we have that 70s guy / what is he? The Fat Girl Jammer or something? Or
The Fat
what is
Chick
What's the
Thriller.
other-
Fat Girl Jammer.
Yeah.
That's great. Fat Chick Thriller. That's right. Oh, that's good. That's so good.
And Disco Inferno.
Sorry, Disco Inferno. Oh God, I hate Disco Inferno. I think that gimmick fucking
Me
sucks
too.
so much. But it's so very similar to these two
and-
guys. So I threw them together in the same round.
Yeah, and well, the gull of Glenn, whatever his name is, Gilberti.
Gilberti?
Is that what his name is?
Yeah, Gilberti.
To go online and give any kind of opinion about wrestling, when look at him here, like, I mean, he's at best a retro porno like male stripper. Best thing ever happened to him was that Scott Hall thought that he was funny, and carried him around like a boy for a bit, because really has no business. And now, was it Gilberti that was supposed to job to Jacqueline and wouldn't do it? They fired him, they brought him back, and then he did it?
I love that you brought that up because that's one of our Meltzer rating matches later. But yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You
So that is
hit it
him.
right on the head. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's him. Yeah, you got it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Mike Awesome is not that. Mike Awesome, I don't know. Mike Awesome, it's complicated. I think I've only ever seen matches with him against
Tanaka. in ECW?
Help me out here.
Tanaka?
Yes. And he is awesome, but Mike Awesome as a name is not good. Yeah. Well, Mike Awesome, but so they brought him in. They didn't know really what to do with him. This was not the thing to do with a guy like Mike Awesome for sure. Don't think it was his idea.
So definitely.
Whereas Disco Inferno was 100% Glenn Gilberti's fucking brainchild.
Oh, you think so? It wasn't Eric Bischoff or Dusty Rhodes or Sullivan?
No, I'd be surprised. Is it? No?
I have no
Have to
idea.
look into
I just, we'll definitely have to dive into that one. But if you're picking one, who do you think to move on?
Of the entire thing here?
No, just of this matchup itself. Disco and Awesome.
Oh, probably Gilberti. Just, it's
yeah.
hard for me to separate how much I dislike him. Yeah.
Yeah. For me, if I'm picking out the people moving on in this round, it's the Kiss Demon, Shockmaster, Shark, Seven, Zodiac, General Erection, Roadblock and Yeti. That's a toss-up. Probably Yeti, and the Disco Inferno.
Mm. Nice. There you go. Okay, cool.
But of course, it's all up to our lovely viewers and fans out there. Please go vote on YouTube.
Hell yeah. Vote on YouTube. Vote on YouTube. Aaron,
Patrick.
we are an hour 10 into this.
Holy
We're
shit.
an hour 10 into this puppy right now.
We got to get moving.
And we got
all
a
right.
long ways left to go. Yes. It's been a long time since we've done the classic game show theme. Normally we're stumping the bish, but I guess it's my birthday, so I get to jump through some hoops and see what my wrestling knowledge is all about. Aaron Bishop, please. Let's begin. What do you got?
All right. Let's start off with one of the more one of the better matches, 2 matches in WCW instead of the shittier ones. Let's start off something positive here. Let's do Randy Savage versus Ric Flair in the steel cage from Super Brawl 6, where Miss Elizabeth turns on Randy Savage. Or
Okay.
Hulk Hogan versus Ric Flair in the steel cage at Halloween Havoc 94. And that's where Mr. T was involved.
Ooh. Oh, then I'm going Macho Man and Ric Flair.
Incorrect.
Really?
Yes, sir.
I'm shocked. I didn't think that Meltzer had it in him.
I
Give
know.
Hogan a better match rating than
Savage, I know,
Yeah,
right?
that's crazy. What? Yeah.
Yeah, Savage and Flair got
What
a
is it? What did they give
3.5.
him?
Yeah, Savage and Flair got a 3.5. Hogan and Flair got a 4.25. Wow.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. That's impressive. Lay it on me, baby.
All right, let's do that Jacqueline versus Disco Inferno match thing I was telling you about. So we have Jacqueline versus the Disco Inferno from Halloween Havoc 1997, or Hulk Hogan versus the Giant from Sold Out 1997.
Okay. Well, I have to think that you're being cute with this because I know you. And those sunglasses, they can hide a lot of things, but they can't hide from me how cute I know you can be. So I'm going to say that it's the Jacqueline and Disco Inferno match. Got a higher rating than the Hogan one.
Incorrect.
Jesus. You're also very tricky, and the sunglasses do hide that from me. I can't tell how tricky you are sometimes. What was it?
So, actually, you know what? Yeah, no, I'm right. Yeah, so Jacqueline and Disco Inferno, they got 0.25 of a star, quarter of a star. Hogan and the Giant got minus half. Minus half.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait now. No, I was right then.
Jacqueline and Disco got the higher match rating.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said Hogan got the higher match rating. Sorry. Okay, no. Jacqueline got the higher match rating. You're right. You're right.
Maybe
You're right.
you're right. We'll have to go back.
We'll have to go back.
And take a look at that. All right. Anyways, moving on.
Yeah. Okay, here we go.
Go ahead.
Scott Steiner versus Jeff Jarrett versus Animal versus Sid Vicious from WCW Sin, or DDP and Jay Leno versus Hogan and Bischoff.
Oh my God. I'm going to say that oh man. Now is that Sid, that match with Sid, that's not the one where he cracked his leg, is it?
Yeah, it is.
Oh God. I think that's going to be the lower rated match then.
You're correct. That is the lower rated match out of the two. That match got a -2 stars. And the DDP, and the tag match between DDP and Jay and Hogan and Bischoff was a 1.25.
Yeah, that's actually generous. I'm surprised it got over 1. But it was probably a handicap that like Jay didn't shit himself or something like that, and so not bad. And that's the way that Meltzer does his ratings. Sometimes. Lay it on me, baby.
All right, we got 2 more. This one here, 2 classics. Ric Flair versus Terry Funk from Clash of the Champions 9. And Ric Flair versus Sting from Clash of the Champions 1.
Okay, this is a tricky one. Can you tell me what years each of those Clash of Champions one? I'm assuming is like what, 86?
That one's 87. 87 or 88. Yeah, that one's 87, okay. Maybe even 88, sorry. And then Ric Flair and Terry Funk, 1990.
And is this the match after Terry Funk was a judge or whatever in the previous one? He was attacked Flair. I'm going to guess that that's the match that has the higher rating.
Woo! Diggity dog, you are correct. That match actually got a full 5 stars from Mr. Dave Meltzer, while Ric Flair versus Sting at the first Clash of the Champions, the one that went the hour draw, 4.75.
Nice. Yeah, both fair. I for some reason, and it might have been because we had already covered that on the show, I knew that Dave was a big fan of that match. And it was around the time, right? He was the judge on a Steamboat match too, right? That was a Flair Steamboat match. So there was something that I knew about how there was all these Flair was stringing together these 5-star matches with different guys.
Yeah.
Cool.
Flair just finished the trilogy with Steamboat, and that's when Funk attacked him. Good memory. Good job.
Thank you.
Last question.
These are fun. I gotta say, when we were doing them and you were guessing and you're saying they were fun, I was like, okay, if you say so. It is fun. It is fun. Way more fun to do. Yeah. Go ahead.
Absolutely. Okay. Last one.
No wonder these are highly rated segments.
Woo.
Yeah.
This one is probably my favorite one. And it's a lot more close. Yeah, it's a lot closer than you think. It is Hogan versus Warrior from Havoc 1998. The infamous match where Hogan tries to throw the fireball at Warrior and it fucks up. Or Buff Bagwell versus Roddy Piper in a boxing match with Judge Mills Lane as a special referee. Yes, that match happened.
Wow. So it's it's another race to the bottom, I guess. I know Meltzer hates boxing matches in wrestling. And I know that Meltzer hates Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan too. So it's tricky. And it's just going to be a shot in the dark. I mean, I don't even remember the second match. I don't know when that took place. So I don't know how bad it was, really. I know how bad the Ultimate Warrior and Hogan match is, how embarrassing that is. But it's tough to say whether or not Meltzer puts that much stock behind gags being blown in an already bad match anyways. So I gotta go with Hogan and Ultimate Warrior.
Correct.
Yeah. What were they?
So I actually just said that it was closer just to get you going a little bit. It actually wasn't even close. Bagwell and Piper, they actually had a plus rating. They actually got a 0.5, half a star rating, while Hogan and Warrior is the lowest rated match of all time for WCW at -5 stars.
Wow. I wonder if Meltzer ever has broken his rating system the other way, the way that he has with rating matches above 5 stars. Can he rate them below -5, I wonder?
I think that would be a dud, but a non-rating. But yeah, right. I've never seen like a -6 stars. No, never.
All right, sir. So that's the end of that little thing. And I guess as a little bonus here, you've put together, or not really put together, you've blatantly stolen from Chris Van Vliet.
Yeah.
Vliet.
Pretty boy Vliet.
Guess the wrestler. Yeah. Son of a bitch. Stealing all the good interviews. So and funny enough, I was thinking of taking something like this and doing it with you as well. So, okay. So basically the shtick here is that I got to guess the wrestler based on the title reigns, and it looks like the belts are significant in terms of, like, you know, we see that the IC belt is from, you know, the Attitude Era, whatever. So they don't hold the IC belt with the cool previous design. Am I right?
Right. And all these are in order,
Yeah.
so you'll see it starts off with the European and goes to the IC and so on.
Right. And you know the answer to this, obviously.
Oh, I got it right away.
Oh, did you?
I did.
Right away.
It took me 2 seconds, literally. But I thought it'd be good for you.
It is, yeah. So, oh, man, right away. So, and is this... Okay.
So we're obviously in the Attitude Era here.
What is the deal with the two belts there at the bottom, the second last one? What does that mean? That he held the two titles at the same time, or he?
No. That means he won the WWE Championship, lost it, won it again. So there's 2 separate reigns, and then he won the world title at the end.
Okay. Oh shit.
So yeah, we're starting here with the European Championship.
Yeah.
In the Attitude Era.
Going to Intercontinental.
Then he won the Intercontinental.
Yeah.
And then he won the WWF.
And then he won the world title.
And then the hardcore
in the WCW title, right?
The WCW, that's right. Yeah, exactly. WCW world title. The hardcore championship threw me off for a second because I didn't really remember him winning the hardcore championship, but he did.
And is the U.S. title still considered the WCW U.S. title here, because that's what the design is?
Yes.
So this is all through the Invasion storyline.
Everything up to the tag team championships is not between 2000 and the Invasion. Yes.
Man, so I mean, I'm gonna talk it out. You got it in minutes, I'm not obviously at this point, but it still doesn't leap out to me. Um, Chris Jericho would be the first one. I don't remember him having a title, hardcore title, or having the U.S. title when it was WCW, or having that SmackDown Tag Team Championship. So that would be my first inclination. I have 3 reasons why that's not it.
It's a good start, good guess, but it's not Chris Jericho.
So then it's like a Triple H, but Triple H didn't have the tag team. It's not Stone Cold. Edge?
Nope.
All right, I'm gonna do it one more time because I'm just gonna do one more guess and then, yeah, the Edge wouldn't make any sense either. See, I mean, how many people in the Invasion era? This is very tricky for me because in the Invasion era, the people that held both of those, that held the world title and then the WCW title and then the SmackDown Tag Team Championships, it's The Rock, it's Booker T, it's Chris Jericho, and it's Stone Cold Steve Austin.
You're missing someone, man. You're missing one important person.
So
he feuded with all of them.
Came in, yeah. Is it Chris Benoit?
No, you're so close. You're so close. It's Kurt Angle.
Eddie Guerrero?
Kurt Angle.
Oh, man. Of course. Yeah, and see, oh, man. Because I'm looking at that, I knew that IC and European thing, all I was thinking about was Chris Jericho, but of course Kurt Angle held both of them at the same time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah.
All right.
That's a good one. That was good. That was good. I wish they'd come up with more stuff like that. They're fun.
Well, I mean, look, we could do it ourselves. All right. We could just straight up steal the idea and do it ourselves sometime. Now we got some real deal. I'm not going to bother with the thing because we're on our way out here. What is this? Botch Club. Oh, God. Aaron, I hate looking at these things. That guy broke his neck. Did he? Ugh.
Yeah, it certainly looks like it. But yeah, you can talk us through these.
I don't even know. I mean, that girl screaming pretty much hits the nail on the head right there. I think we could have probably pulled that one off, actually. So that's a big fail. Then we got, oh God,
There's 2 parts of this, so that's impressive. But just wait for it.
Oh. That's pretty sweet, actually. So where is this? This is a non-speaking English country.
Yeah, I have no idea where this is.
Sounds like it's
good.
Middle Eastern. I don't know what he was going for. I thought he was going to jump down with the... Oh, yeah, I like it. That's good. I don't even say it's a botch. That's that they hit that perfectly. That's
They
exactly
really did,
how
though.
they intended it to be.
That was best case scenario.
We're gonna get demonetized for this stuff. I don't think we can show this. What is this from? Ugh.
Just some
That's not
deathmatch
even
bullshit. No, it's just some shit.
Yeah, that's
Like-
not even. I mean, that's not even. that started off bad. The worst part was the fork hanging out of the guy's
Not
head.
the fork, I know.
Yeah.
Like, why? Like, why wrestlers? There's no fucking need to stick a fork in your head, then take a full fucking bundle of fluorescent light bulb
Yeah.
tubes. Like, what's the point of it? It's so stupid. Anyway.
Well, I mean, what Jim Cornette would say is that they do it because they aren't skilled enough to do it the right way. You know, the only way that they can make it into having that kind of a audience is by, you know, doing the mutilation stuff. So, anyways, all my love to the guys out there in the ring doing it. I would love to be in the audience. You know, I would be beside myself. We should ask our boy Atois to do some death matches. We could go and check him out.
Oh, yeah, that's not a bad idea. He does some really good stuff. So does Shane Mercer. Yeah, we'll talk more about these guys in a few minutes here, or actually probably right now as we do our outro. That's all the real deal we have, right? So, yeah, we're going to say goodbye this week. And as we do, I'm going to play some just pretty cool wrestling moves, not botches, actually cool wrestling moves here in the background. I know that we brought up before about possibly doing a wrestling show in the future. I just want to let you know that we are getting the ball rolling on that. We have some sponsors lined up. We're trying to get some charities involved. So what we're thinking of doing is one big show at the Calgary Stampede next year for charity. And so we're in the process now of getting charities involved. So if anybody watching out there, if you know of any charities in Alberta or across Canada that may like to get involved in a big wrestling show, you can get a hold of us at bwfpodcasts@gmail.com. Already booked for the show, Canadian Goose, our buddy, Kyle Shaw. August Artois will be coming as well. But anyway, that's all in the future. As for next week,
nice.
Yeah, big stuff happening. But yeah, as for next week, we're going to look at Hogan and Warrior, I do believe, from Halloween Havoc. You want to do that? Do you want to see what the downfall? I don't know. We'll see what next week holds. We have no idea. But go check out the Bill Anderson interview that we just dropped this week. It's fantastic. Yeah, we don't watch the product. Have a good week, folks. Wrestling fans, if you liked what you saw in this video, please go to our Patreon account. Link is here at the bottom of the screen. For only $3 US a month, you can get our full episodes as they're released early. You can see extra content not seen on our YouTube and TikTok channels, and a whole lot more.